All right, I'm actually on time today. Early even. 20 seconds early. All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. Welcome back to the most radical stream on the internet. My name is Ryan, aka Radical Coder. And today we're going to be diving in to really a bunch of stuff about Donald Trump. We're going to do a deep research stream into the Orange Man, because I'm of the opinion that he is in fact bad. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for the next couple hours. Just kind of digging in. I'm going to probably pull up an outline of things that I've planned, because we're doing a debate panel tomorrow night on Sarah the Raging Tomatoes show, where we'll be arguing the premise, Orange Man bad. So hopefully we can defend that pretty strongly by the end of this. Before we get started, let me find some notes to kind of riff off of. There it is. I've got like dozens of different conversations with ChatGPT that I've been having, like kind of trying to organize my thoughts on this. And it's just it's a mess. So hopefully we can take some time to kind of organize all of that. Although it can, honestly, it could just get way more chaotic, but we'll see. Here we go. Orange Man bad. All right, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to make a quick. I'm going to use Gemini to make like a quick web app, and I'm going to share my screen with you all. What's going on? Oh, Raycast isn't open. I was like, why are my shortcuts not working? Welcome. I'll have something to share with you all on the screen in just a moment here. If you're popping in, just click like on the stream, even if you're just popping in for a second. Helps me out a lot, I think. That's what I've been told anyway. Ooh, this should be good. It's a tower defense. Okay. Cool. So I think I just made a tower defense game about Trump's corruption. So this should be fun. I'm gonna move this over here. All right, now I can present. I think if I switch to this and share my screen, and I want to share this Gemini tab. There we go. All right. So I just took a bunch of notes that I've collected and discussed over some time about like specific kind of points that I want to hit on. And I threw them into DeepSeek to make a web app just now. And I'm just going to throw that up on Canvas, because Gemini, Google's AI, now has a Canvas feature. If you're unfamiliar, Canvas is kind of like a I mean, it's it just can display web apps basically in a chat interface. So I'm copying and pasting this web app. It's called the Democracy Defense Simulator, which is pretty awesome, because that's kind of what we're here to do. We're here to defend democracy against the Orange Man. So let's see what this app looks like on the Gemini canvas. Look at it go. All right, I'm really excited. I haven't really spent very much time with Gemini's canvas yet. I figured I'd play with it mostly tonight. What up, Sharky Larky 1 2 3 4 5 6 7? What a name. I don't know who you are, but it's good to have you here. Welcome. Maybe I do know you. All right. So we've got Democracy Defense Simulator. We're going to stop the authoritarian takeover using facts and institutions. Absolutely love that. How's it going? It's going pretty well. Doing all right. We're basically tomorrow I'm going on a panel where I'm going to be the main antagonist. I'm going to be fighting on the premise Orange Man bad. So we are doing deep research today, basically going into all sorts of different claims or points that I feel are worth talking about in terms of Trump. And yeah, just kind of digging into them. Where have I been? Man, oh, you're still a mod. What up, Yasmin? Good to see you. I got a job last year and I worked and I loved my job. And unfortunately, due to some restructuring, they let me go at the end of last year. So I decided, well, a couple months into 2025, we've got a fascist takeover of the U.S. government going on. It might be a good time to teach. I think I've heard a couple people describe what we're about to experience as a hard civics lesson, and I think that's apt. I think that this is going to be a moment where a lot of people really learn about a lot of Americans really get a new understanding of the Constitution as we kind of experience Trump and his team basically testing the edges of it. Oh yeah, I need to talk to Ashley too. I haven't heard from her in a while. We both got a dog at like the same time. Feel free. Yeah, you can ask me whatever you want. Actually, real quick, let me go get my puppy boy. Oh, come here, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Umbreon. He's the best boy. He is the best boy. The sweetest dog that ever has lived. He's just fantastic. I love him so much. His name is Umbreon. Let's see. I'm on UK, so I don't know much, but what do you think about him trying to stop the Ukraine war? I mean, it's Putin's war, frankly. I think that he kind of wants to feel like I think he wants a Nobel Peace Prize really badly. I think that's like kind of trying to look at this thing. It's going to like 180%. Obviously, is a buggy AI made app. I think he cares more about like kind of the recognition of being the person who stopped the war than he does actually like stopping the war, which is kind of why he is so soft on Putin. When I mean, in reality, like Putin is the one who could stop the war, right? He doesn't have to invade Ukraine. There's nothing stopping him realistically from not invading Ukraine anymore. So I don't know. I want, the way I see it, I want Ukraine to be able to defend themselves against Russia, because I don't want Russia to finish with Ukraine and then attack a NATO country and then have to have us get involved. I think Ukraine is kind of a line in the sand that if Putin realizes that he can just get past that, then what happens next is much more dangerous. And that's what I don't want. I don't want to see my family go to war. You know, I don't want to see people that I care about going to war. I'm probably I don't know. I'm 32, so maybe I could still, in theory, get drafted to go fight the war if things got bad enough in World War III. But hopefully, we never reach that point, right? But I think that's kind of the concern. Is it Ukraine is defending themselves from Putin so that we don't have to get involved later, right? I want to come to Florida, go to Disney, but I'm scared. Yeah, scary time. I mean, Disney's fun. If you can make it out, go to Disney. It's a good time. I used to go to Disney all the time. Love it out there. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we got the Project 2025 stuff. People will I still have to fight with people who are talking about how wow, what happened to Project 2025? Well, I'll tell you what happened to Project 2025. Project 2025 tracker. There's a really good project here. Really depressing thing to look at, But let's see. I'm going to share it. Here. This is a Project 2025 tracker. Okay. So look at this bar. There are 300 total tasks that are outlined in Project 2025, and 100 of them have been completed. 46 of them are in progress. We are at 41% of Project 2025 being implemented. So anyone who tells you that Project 2025 is not real, that it's not happening, they're wrong. Number one, you can share them this wonderful, super useful link that shows them a detailed breakdown of how these things are actually being implemented. So like right here, U.S. Agency for Global Media, Trump signed an executive order to eliminate the U.S. Agency for Global Media, cease investigating Title VI disparate impact cases. That's Department of Education. So no effectively achieved by closing most civil rights offices. Staff will say virtually impossible to resolve. I can't, or does it go further? Staff say it will be virtually impossible to resolve discrimination complaints. We've got obviously sources provided for all of this. We got ProPublica, the EPA. The goal to roll back the goal of haze reduction, visible air pollution. That's been completed. That's not great. It's from page 424 424 here of Project 2025. This is the EPA. This is them outlining the EPA regulation, and they're saying the statute does not require this. Let's see. Regional haze rules should be revised to prevent subsequent planning periods from being abused to compel the shutdown. Yeah, if you say so. Obviously, Project 2025 is a real thing. And if you need any more evidence of that, should look up, what's his name? I typed Andrew Vaught, but it's Russell Vaught, right? Russell Vogt, I think is his name, is how you say it, Russell Vogt. Russell Vogt is the director of the United States Office of Management and Budget. And he is one of the key architects of Project 2025. So one of the first questions, if anyone tells you that Project 2025 is not Trump's goal, well, why is he putting this guy wrote chapter 2 of Project 2025. Why is this guy the director of the United States Office of Management and Budget if they don't have any concern with Project 2025? Explain that. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's obviously a thing. It's obviously happening. We're living through it. Lots of gaslighting, Let me hop back to. So yeah, back to Project 2025, the ongoing corruption and self-interest. Yeah, Trump's blueprint to replace watchdogs with loyalists. Obviously, this is happening. If you followed anything that's going on, you can tell this is what they've been doing. They replaced, I think, 17 or more inspectors general, 7 of which, from my understanding, if not more, were actually investigating Elon Musk's companies. So that's something we'll dive into at some point, I'm sure. Fun stuff there. Obviously, this aligns agencies to his agenda, undermining checks and balances. If you're a fan of Trump, this probably sounds great because you're like, wow, he's going to get to do all the things he wants to do. But if you care about the checks and balances that we're supposed to have to prevent him from doing absolutely everything he wants to do, or to do the things he wants to do through the proper channels, this is kind of concerning. If you like our Constitution, which I do from what I know about it, I'm a pretty big fan. The emoluments clause. Let's see. So Trump's businesses received foreign government payments, violating the Constitution, compromised impartiality, open door to influence. Not good. Not good stuff, He attempted to I mean, God, you can just pick like anything at random. Obviously, like January 6th has been talked to death, but it is a fact that Donald Trump sent, I think, 7 fake electors to Washington on January 6th to lie and say that they were the state selected electors. And then the protesters who became rioters they raged on the Capitol with the explicit goal of convincing convincing Mike Pence to do the right thing. And the right thing in that case was stopping the peaceful transfer of power, was saying, no, actually, we need to delay it for whatever reason, right? So not good stuff. Not great, if you ask me. Yeah, I mentioned the purging of inspectors general, removed independent watchdogs overseeing government agencies, reduced accountability, enabled unchecked abuse of power. Not cool. We don't love these things. I actually don't love this app that it made, so I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna go into Gemini. I'm gonna make a new chat on a canvas, and I'm just gonna paste my points here, and then I'm gonna give it. I have a nice prompt. That I use to build web apps with whatever the fuck I want. And I'm gonna put this after that. So bam. Let's see what we get. The Trump Record, a chronicle of controversy. We love it. I mean, we could dive into the Eric Adams stuff, where they withdrew charges against Eric Adams, notwithstanding, so that they can kind of bring them back whenever they want if he doesn't go along with Trump's agenda, which they even joked about the day after that happened. We talked pretty extensively now about Project 2025. They fired tons of watchdogs, replacing them with loyalists. Oh man, we could talk about Kash Patel, our new FBI director, who is he wrote a children's book called "The Plot Against the King." The Plot Against the King. This is actually there's a song. Really the worst part of the Plot Against the King thing is that there's actually a song that unfortunately kind of slaps. I don't know if I want to play it because I'm probably gonna get copyright struck by the FBI. Official lyric video. This is specifically a children's song to rewrite history. I mean, it's kind of disturbing, you know. And we got Kash Patel, our FBI director, who inserted himself as a wizard in this children's book about how Donald Trump, the king in this case, who looks far more handsome in this story than he is in real life. I think that Hillary. The Plot Against the King. It's such a banger. It's so bad that it like slaps. It's so unfortunate, really. Let me stop sharing that one. No more Plot Against the King. Ooh, actually, you know what might be really good? No, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna like make a web app of Project 2025 itself, but I think that since we already have that, like someone already's put through the hard work to build that, I don't need to do that. Look at all these things happening. Obviously, it's good if we slow them down. We want to slow down these things. At least in my opinion, we want to slow down these things as much as possible. Trump is slashing government oversight so his cronies can loot taxpayer money without consequences. That seems to be what's happening. He's giving billion-dollar contracts to his friends like Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is earning like $8 million a day in government subsidies, while calling welfare recipients parasites. And not just welfare recipients, really anyone who benefits from any social program is being considered a parasite from Elon Musk's perspective. Oh yeah. Trump's sons have bragged that they have all the funding they need from Russia. This is ages ago. and his policies prove he's still paying them back. I don't know how I feel about that exact phrasing, but he certainly, I feel like Donald Trump wants America to look more like Russia looks right now. Trump is using the presidency as a personal ATM, forcing Secret Service and officials to spend millions at his hotels. This is also a lot of this stuff that happened in his previous term. So I kind of have to, we kind of need to separate some of these things between like what's going on right now and what was going on, because it is a very different presidency. I stole from a charity for kids with cancer. He's also recently deported a 10-year-old U.S. citizen recovering from brain cancer. That's fun. That's a fun story. Obviously, he ran fake university. He's still scamming his supporters. We got a graph too. Oh, it didn't make a graph. Okay. Or it tried to make a graph. He did openly say he wants to be a dictator for a day. That is one day too many. So true. He did try to steal the 2020 election, as we talked about it, and rewrote it into a children's book starring himself as starring. See, this is why you can't rely on AI to write the exact claims here, right? Like it kind of mixes up specific things. So Kash Patel wrote the children's book. It does star Trump. It stars Kash Patel as a wizard. So he did tell the DOJ to just say the election was corrupt so he could stay in power legally. That did happen. Obviously, we talked again about Project 2025, which is his plan to fire thousands of career government employees and replace them with MAGA loyalists, as I've said extensively. I don't need to go through these point by point. We can explore these a bit deeper. Oh, let's talk about the criminal behavior and sexual abuse. A jury did find him liable for sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll, proving he really does grab him by the pussy. He literally did. And he tried to sue media outlets who called it rape. But the judge said that the word probably applied, at least in common parlance. He paid hush money to a porn star, lied about it, and he was on trial. Again, some of this stuff is out of date. He was on trial for election fraud because of the hush money trial, or because of the hush money that he paid from his election funds. Obviously, inflated assets to scam banks, deflated them to dodge taxes. These are both proven fraud. He pardoned convicted felons like Manafort and Roger Stone, not because they were innocent, but because they protected him. He also pardoned 1,500 violent terrorists who overran the Capitol on January 6th. His charity was shut down for fraud after he stole money for veterans and kids with cancer, and he's still doing that. They shut down research into children's cancer programs. They shut down DEIA programs, which includes accessibility, which obviously affects disabled people broadly, not just disabled veterans. He's praised Putin while Russian soldiers killed American allies. He's called Zelensky a con artist. He's also called him. We watched that. We all saw what happened in the Oval Office, where Zelensky was being begged to say thank you by JD Vance. Why don't you say thank you? Why don't you say thank you? Stood next to Putin, said he believes Russia over U.S. intelligence agencies. Pretty embarrassing stuff, really. Pretty bad stuff. Yeah, he is handing Putin everything he wants, really, in this. That's how I feel about it. He spent years trying to buy Greenland and now says Canada should be the 51st state. I don't know if he spent years trying to buy Greenland, but he's certainly trying to do it now. Was that a policy before? Did Trump try to buy Greenland in first term? Let's see. So we got an NPR article. What to know about Trump and his keen interest in Greenland. Trump Jr. made a whirlwind visit to Greenland on Thursday. When is this? This is from January 7th. This is before he even took office again. Things have gotten so much worse since then. President-elect talked about buying Greenland while he was on the campaign trail. Yes. For purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Not sure about that one. There's one big problem with the whole Greenland thing. The problem is that Greenlanders don't seem to want to be one of our states. I'm sure they'd happy to be allies of the United States, but they don't seem to want to be part of the United States. Not good stuff. During a news conference Tuesday, again, this is before he even took office, the president-elect said he couldn't rule out using military or economic coercion to seize Greenland or the Panama Canal. Yeah, so he's also talking about stealing Panama. His aspirations to buy Greenland date back to at least August 2019 during his first term in the White House, when he defended his idea in part by saying he wasn't the first leader to suggest it, which is probably true. So let's see. Did Harry Truman really try to buy Greenland back in the day? Yes, but it's complicated. Trump's acknowledgement that he really has been talking about the United States buying Greenland and that he was offended when Denmark's prime minister called the idea absurd were jaw-dropping coda from an August 16 report. Blah, blah, blah. Trump not open to the idea. I thought the prime minister's statement was nasty. It was not a nice way of doing it. Such a soft boy, our president. The situation in Truman's time was very different for other reasons. Dangerous chill was settling between the United States and Soviet Union following the conclusion of the war in Europe. Oh, well, I mean, frankly, that started to sound more familiar. Truman and his Soviet counterparts were arranging pieces on a strategic chessboard for what would become the Cold War. That's why, according to the AP's account of National Archive papers, Truman's advisors prized the geographic advantage Greenland could afford to defend against Soviet strategic bombers that might fly over the Arctic Circle toward targets in North America. The United States opened negotiations with Denmark about using Greenland, and at one point, the American side proposed buying the island outright for $100 million in gold and the rights to a patch of Alaskan oil. All this took place in confidence, but even then, as now, the idea shocked the Danes. Here's how AP's W. Dale Nelson described the National Archive documents about the exchange, or counted the exchange. Made the offer to visiting Danish Foreign Minister Gustav Rasmussen? I don't know how to say that. Is there like your speech? Rasmussen. Okay. In New York on December 14th, 1946, according to a telegram from Burns to the U.S. legislation in Copenhagen. After discussing other security arrangements for Greenland, Burns said he told Rasmussen that perhaps an outright sale to the United States would be the most clean-cut and satisfactory. Our needs seemed to come as a shock to Rasmussen, but he did not reject my suggestions flatly and said he would study a memorandum, which I gave him. So this is what Trump is using. I guess this is the historical precedent to buy Greenland. But again, like, I would like Canada to be the 51st state, or Greenland, or really anyone who wants to be a 51st state to America. I'm okay with expanding the U.S. territory, but only if the people in those territories want that to happen. That's right. Like that's kind of the big concern, and it seems like Greenland does not want to be part of the United States. So that's kind of the problem there. Let's go back to our web app in Gemini. Oh, I think I can share this too. I can share this canvas. That's kind of cool. I'll post that in the chat for anyone who wants to look at the Gemini app. Trump gutted federal disaster response. He then threw paper towels at Puerto Ricans after Hurricane Maria. That's true. I remember that. See, a lot of this stuff gets mixed in, like things from his first term, stuff that I need to kind of weed out before tomorrow night. He told people to inject bleach for COVID. That one's sort of true. He did call the virus a hoax while Americans died. I think he didn't wear a mask until like June, something like that. He wasn't in public wearing a mask for months and months, and he kept saying that he's like, oh, it'll be gone in a month. It'll be gone in 2 months. It'll be gone by summer. It'll be gone by XYZ. And it obviously we're still dealing with COVID variants, right? Like it was never just gone. That didn't happen. Umbreon, you sleepy boy. Come here. Say hi. Say hi to the chat. There's my boy. Yes. What a pretty doggy. He doesn't have to think about Trump. He doesn't have to think about politics, does he? He has no clue. My little doofus. Imagine how peaceful it would be to live in this little simple head. It would be nice. Let's see. Here's one good quote from a paragraph I'd kind of, or from an opening statement I'd kind of been working on, but I'm gonna rewrite a lot of this stuff before tomorrow night. But he's not just bad, he's a disaster, a criminal, and a con man. Treats the presidency like his personal crime syndicate. He tried to steal an election. He's trying to rewrite history, and Project 2025 is his plan to gut democracy completely. If you think Orange Man bad is reductive, you're missing the point. There aren't enough words to cover how much damage he's done. They're really, like, every day they're doing something new, and that's actually another thing I want to jump into. I want to talk about flooding the zone. So Steve Bannon. Oh, here, let me remove paywall. Here we go. So if you ever feel like, man, there sure is a lot of stuff that Trump's doing, it's kind of overwhelming. It's really hard to follow. Like, the media is just reporting on stuff he does constantly. What's up with that? Well, it's very deliberate. It's the flood the zone strategy. It leaves opponents like myself gasping in outrage. It's a deliberate effort by the president's team to roll out an unceasing flow of initiatives. It knocks rivals off balance in this was the first few days. I mean, this is old. Strategies existed since at least 2018. I mean, it's an older strategy than that. It's not like Steve Bannon really invented this strategy of the flood the zone, but he seems to have coined it, at least in terms of Trump's approach to it. But yeah, it was Steve Bannon's strategy. He boasts about it, about overwhelming Democrats and any media opposition through a determined effort to flood the zone with initiatives. This quote probably leads to an article about it, I bet. No, that's not what I was looking for. Okay. This time the flood is bigger, wider, and more brutally efficient. As President, this is a week after he took office. So as President Trump begins his second term, he has enacted his agenda at breakneck speed as part of an intentional plan to knock his opponents off balance and dilute their response. So true. I don't know if there's firing inspectors general. Lots of them. How many did he fire? How many inspectors generals did Trump fire? Yeah, it was like 17 different other agencies. Yeah, 17. No, I mean, this is just like a few days in. There's probably been more fired now, I imagine. Sweeping clemency for January 6 defendants, investigations of perceived enemies, a federal hiring freeze, moving to end birthright citizenship. That one's obviously unconstitutional. An immigration crackdown, terminating diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Again, they forget to mention accessibility. Most of those programs are DEIA, so they include. Where are you having this debate? I'm having it on Raging Tomatoes show. It's on Sarah's show tomorrow night. You're welcome, Lou Ray. That's what I'm here for, to help you rest in peace. Yeah, it's going on Sarah's show. What do you mean? Where are you having this debate as? Yes, tomorrow night on Sarah's channel. The Raging Tomato. Here, in case anyone needs a link to Sarah's channel. In fact, I'll post a link to the actual, I think it's already up. I can pull it up now. The Raging Tomato. Here we go. See? Tomorrow night, live in 24 hours. March 20th, 7:15 p.m. Be here. We will be fighting with whoever comes on to fight about Orange Man being bad. People will try to tell me that he's good, I suppose. And I will respectfully and firmly disagree. Back to... I want to keep reading this article about flooding the zone. Obviously revoking security clearances. I think, he just recently also removed like secret security, or is it, Secret Service protections from Hunter Biden and I think it was other Biden children, right? It's kind of fucked up. Imagine if Biden did that. Imagine if Biden took the Secret Service away from like Donald Trump Jr. Republicans would lose their fucking minds. But whatever. On Tuesday, just when Democrats thought they might come up for air, news broke that Mr. Trump had ordered a freeze on trillions of dollars in federal grants and loans. Has this one been God, it's so weird, like reading all this stuff 2 months in. Like so much of this has been challenged and overturned, and a lot of it has stood. But let's see. News broke Mr. Trump ordered a freeze on trillions of dollars in federal grants and loans, prompting a new round of outrage. But the flood has had its intended disoriented effect. How can Democrats fight back when they can't even catch their breath? Kuro uses lurk in chat. It's super effective. Good to see you, Kuro. Happy to have you here. Yeah, how can Democrats fight back when they can't catch their breath? That's a strategy. Like it's supposed to be overwhelming. It feels overwhelming because they're trying to do that. It's been overwhelming sensory overload, said Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, top Democrat in the House Judiciary Committee. One moment I'm on the phone with someone who does cancer drug clinical medical trials for the government, who has been slated for removal because one small part of her job is outreach to the minority community. He said, next moment I'm talking to lawyers at the Department of Justice, and they've been slated to involuntarily reassigned, involuntarily reassigned. It just doesn't stop. The reason I want to go through this stuff that is, months old, I think it's really, this all happens so fast that, I mean, like I'm saying here, like the point is to flood the zone, right? The point is to overwhelm, and just there's not a single story that got the attention it deserved. Like there was nothing that happened that actually any sort of media outlet could ever spend enough time on, because everything they were doing was newsworthy. Everything they were doing was groundbreaking and unprecedented in such a way that it's just so fucking much. And I think it deserves a little bit of a post-mortem of sorts on the first few weeks and leading up to now. So that's why I'm kind of digging back into some of this stuff. One of the architects of Mr. Trump's rapid pace strategy is Stephen Miller, the deputy White House chief of staff for policy, who has pushed the flood the zone tactic. Mr. Miller believes that those he regards as Mr. Trump's enemies have limited bandwidth for opposition, and he has told people that the goal is to overwhelm them with a blitz of activity, as I keep saying. The breakneck speed is putting everyone on their heels, said Ryan Walker, the executive vice president of Heritage Action for America, a conservative advocacy group that has developed policies embraced by Mr. Trump. So this is them kind of bragging, right? The breakneck speed is putting everyone on their heels, and he's saying like a good thing. Like everyone's on their heels. We're really getting them. We're really sticking it to them. Mr. Walker said he had seen a sea change from the first administration in terms of how quickly the new administration was working. Yeah, definitely. Because I think when Trump got in last time, he just had no fucking clue. And this time he has a bunch of people who are helping him reshape the government in his own image. Some Democrats have suggested that Mr. Trump and his aides may soon run out of steam. It doesn't seem like they've run out of steam quite yet. But I think they've kind of slowed down, and they're having to fight a lot more legal battles at this point, which is good. Obviously, we want them to be fighting these legal battles so they're not able to just get everything they try to do across. And of course, they're calling every judge that rules against them an activist judge. That's a common. That's just any time a judge disagrees with Trump, they're ruled an activist judge. So watch for that, because that'll come up a bunch more. Exhausting their policy moves and eventually themselves, Mr. Raskin said Democrats needed to fight the feeling of being disoriented, weather the torrent of news and determine which policies they could actually fight in court. Exactly, which I think has happened to a pretty respectable degree. Everyone needs to maintain as much mental clarity and emotional composure as possible, he said. We need to figure out where the administration has clearly violated the Constitution, such as with birthright citizenship, and where the courts will still work for us. In other cases, we're going to have to be creative and nimble. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York and the minority leader, called a meeting on Wednesday to open a comprehensive three-pronged counteroffensive against Mr. Trump's blitz. This is when he was calling him Captain Chaos, right? Does he still do that? I don't know if he still calls him Captain Chaos. It's a little cringe, but I'm going to admit, I liked the Captain Chaos nickname. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's apt at least, you know? Democrats believe the Trump administration erred badly by freezing grants relied on by many Americans, and will discuss contesting that move through legislation and a communication strategy. Yeah, I think that has a lot of federal grants were reinstated, but probably not all, I imagine. It's a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. Representative Gerald E. Connolly of Virginia, the top Democrat in the Oversight Committee, said of the pace of Mr. Trump's moves, but he said the speed is likely to cause sloppiness and mistakes. That's true. Hopefully. They're going to stumble, Mr. Connolly said. They're going to screw up, and we're going to pounce when they do. In their haste to remake the federal government, they're going to make big, big mistakes, and we should call them out at every step of the way, if you ask me. There was a similar feeling from advocacy groups trying to keep up with Mr. Trump's sweeping immigration changes. Within hours of taking office, Mr. Trump sought to bar asylum for people arriving at the southern border, suspend the refugee admissions program, and declare migrant crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border a national emergency. The administration welcomed news crews to ride along with federal agents as they pursued undocumented immigrants. I've seen a lot of I keep seeing these in my Facebook feed. I'll see I guess this U.S. Border Patrol posting clips of people being deported and stuff, and it's like this kind of deportation porn. I guess it's a very, very weird thing to see. But it is par for the course. It is kind of what we'd expect from this administration. Trump administration is issuing multiple overlapping orders in an effort to have us play whack-a-mole, but we're prepared to do that, said Lee Gellert. How do I say that name? Gellert? Speech. Lee Gellert, an American civil liberties union lawyer who represented the group in many of the highest profile cases during the first Trump administration, including a challenge to the family separation policy. So this guy obviously has experience fighting their policies. We're about 60% of the way through, so bear with. During the first Trump administration, many on the right were still learning how to use the levers of government to achieve their goals. Now they've entered office ready for a full-scale blitz, and that's exactly what we've seen. They were not this prepared, Mr. Walker said. They had not done this much homework before getting into office, and importantly, they've been able to find acting folks in all these agencies to get this stuff across the finish line, and that is a feat of personnel management that we just did not see in the first administration. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia and the chairwoman of New House Subcommittee. I didn't know she was from Georgia. I should know that. Of New House Subcommittee aiming to scale back government by working with Elon Musk's government efficiency effort, said Democrats should get used to late-night policy moves that were unknown during the Biden administration. Mr. Trump's agenda was endorsed by the voters, Ms. Greene said, and he is working as fast as humanly possible to enact it. Let's see how many votes did Trump get again in 2024? 77.3 million. Okay, so 77.3 million. Sorry, I'm going to show this tab. So 77.3 million divided by 330 million. Is that what the US population is? So that's 23%. So whenever people tell you that Donald Trump has a mandate from the American people, this is a conservative estimate, right? How many? What's the U.S. population right now? 341 million. So 77 million divided by 341 million. Not even 23%. It's 22.5% of the American population voted for Donald Trump. That's not a mandate, okay? It's not a fucking mandate. It's just not. So when Miss Green says that Mr. Trump's agenda was endorsed by the voters, I think that's something that should be challenged. He's working as fast as humanly possible to enact it. That's true. That requires staying up late at night, she said. On Mr. Bannon's War Room podcast earlier this weekend, his voice was filled with pride as he praised the pace of the new administration. If you look at the scale, the depth, and the urgency that comes from years of people working on this, he said, this did not happen overnight. So true. Oh, poor puppy's yawning. He's sleepy too. We're putting the puppy to sleep. I'm sorry, Bobby. You bored? Poor guy. You want to go play? Here. Hey. He singled out Mr. Miller for praise before encouraging the administration to push forward relentlessly. All pedal, no brake, drive it, drive it, drive it, he said, adding, when you've got this kind of momentum, you do not stop, you do not think, you go, you go, you go. I don't know. If we're talking about reshaping the government, I think you should maybe stop sometimes, take a look around, see what you're doing, see what the consequences are. But obviously, that's not their concern. They're not concerned with what the potential consequences are. They're not concerned with the lives that they destroy. All they care about is going, and driving, and drill, baby, drill, right? So that's fun, and that's the flood of the zone. And it's working. It's absolutely overwhelming. A lot of people don't want to get involved. People don't want to talk about politics because it's fucking depressing right now, right? I think this has been overturned, but President Trump moved toward pushing openly transgender people out of the military and directed the Pentagon to end diversity programs as he sought to reshape America's armed forces. Firing prosecutors, the acting attorney general fired more than a dozen prosecutors who worked on investigations into Trump for the special counsel Jack Smith, saying they could not be trusted to faithfully implement the president's agenda, which, that might be true, but probably because they would follow the law instead of just doing whatever he wants. When Colombia's president Gustavo Petro refused military planes carrying deportees, infuriating Trump, he revealed how heated the question of deportations has become. Conservative Christian moms believe in homeschooling and distrust food and drug companies. In RFK Jr., Trump's pick for health secretary, they see a bull in a china shop. Yeah. Oil and gas executives welcomed Trump's early moves on energy policy, but many said they did not plan to increase production unless prices rose significantly. So they're happy about what he's doing, but they're like, doesn't mean we're going to increase production. Like we were already, I think U.S. was already making or producing more oil. U.S. oil production by year. As an AI overview, so maybe we shouldn't trust it, but let's see. Let's look at. Yeah, this is in 2024. So by December, this is like it's not going down, right? Let's look at 3 years. It's going up. 5 years going up. 10 years. So it did also go up during Trump, but then dropped significantly in 2020. This is probably COVID related primarily, but all throughout Biden's presidency, it was going back up, right? A few drops here and there, going back up, and then exceeding what it was before. So we were already at record highs in crude oil production, despite what Trump likes to say about that. Fun stuff. Okay. Moving on. How we doing, everyone? Who's chilling in here? Who's watching? I know we got a couple people lurking. I have a. Hang on. I have like a practice opening statement I guess I could run through. It's not going to be what I actually say in the debate. because I'm gonna completely rewrite this, and some of it's not even some of it's not exactly what I want to say, but debate topic selection. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read this opening statement, which is again is not going to be what I actually say tomorrow, but it's kind of a preview of the tone I'm going for, and like the way that I want to approach this. So, all right. So I know many want to paint Donald J. Trump as a misunderstood genius, a selfless patriot battling the so-called deep state. But from where I'm standing, he looks more like a professional con man who couldn't even be fucked to attend his successor's inauguration, something every other modern president has managed to do. Instead, he threw a tantrum so monumental it made history, inciting a violent mob to attack the Capitol in a desperate bid to cling to power. And now, in his second term, what's he done? For starters, he created the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, appointing Elon Musk to lead it. Although this, again, the statement says that, let's be real, Musk is too busy juggling his tech empires to actually run the circus, but that's not true. Elon's definitely running it, even though when pressed about who's really in charge, they named some random person who was vacationing in Mexico at the time, probably clueless about her sudden promotion. This epitomizes Trump's chaotic governance, appointing figureheads while the real strings are pulled behind the scenes. Speaking of dubious appointments, he tapped Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Yes, the same Gabbard known for her cozy ties to Russian interests. It's as if he assembled a cabinet based on how much dirt he can dig up on them. Take Matt Gaetz, for example, Trump's original pick for Attorney General, all while sitting on information about Gaetz' alleged relationship with an underage girl. When Congress got wind and released the reports, Gaetz' nomination was dead in the water. This isn't governance, it's a mafia-style shakedown. That brings us to Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, who faced corruption charges. Trump's team didn't exonerate him. They withdrew the charges, notwithstanding, meaning they could bring them back anytime Adams steps out of line. They even joked about it in interviews. This is governance by blackmail, pure and simple. On the international front, Trump started trade wars with our allies, including Canada. He's floated the idea of making them our 51st state, ignoring the minor detail that Canadians aren't interested. He's mused about acquiring Greenland, perhaps by force, as if annexation is back in vogue. This is not diplomacy, it's delusion. But sure, let's pretend the real problem is that liberals are just too mean to him. Let's ignore that he's done more to divide this country than any leader in modern history. Let's ignore that he openly admires dictators like Vladimir Putin while undermining our democratic institutions. Let's ignore that his economic policies are basically a rich guy playing Monopoly with your rent money. The truth is, Trump is not some political mastermind. He's a con artist who figured out that if you lie loudly enough, long enough, and get enough people to meme those lies into existence, you can at least convince a chunk of the country, about 22.5%, as we saw, to follow you right off a cliff. And unfortunately, we're all strapped to that same bus. So yeah, the orange man is bad, not just because he says dumb, mean shit on the internet, which he does, but because of his policies, his actions, and his entire approach to governance are actively harming Americans. If you need a case study on how much damage one man can do to a country while still somehow convincing people he's the victim, look no further. Who am I talking to? I guess whoever's watching this now or in the future. I'm reading a opening statement that I put together to practice for the debate panel I'm doing tomorrow. Now I'm talking to you. And now I'm going to take an outline of that opening statement and I'm going to turn it into a web app. You went to the store? Well, welcome back. Yeah, I'm talking to Kuro. Wait, is it Kuro or Kuro? I don't know. I always say Kuro, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's but yeah. Let me see. Let me pull back up. So yeah, that was the opening statement I put together like 3 days ago, and I've added a bunch of other points that haven't really been weaved in yet. And again, obviously, like as I was doing it, I was kind of riffing and changing bits and pieces. A lot of that's going to change before tomorrow, but that's really the tone that I'm taking. I'm just gonna. I want to hit as many points as possible that are like well supported. Pretty much. Okay, cool. Pretty much anything that I can just kind of hammer down and be like, well, like if they're going to challenge me on anything specific, then we can dive into that specific thing. I'm happy to do that, but I'm gonna open with a pretty extreme gish gallop, basically. So, write another new web app based on the following opening statement I wrote for a debate. Now we're just going to watch Gemini do its work. For someone who thinks so chaotically as I do, AI has just been such a blessing. I can just like mind dump and actually build something out of it, in a really really great way. So here's an outline of what we just covered. Let's see, I'll open it in its own. So the real threats of Trump's second term, focusing on facts, not distractions. This is basically all the stuff I just went through, right? Not a misunderstood genius, blah, 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 cozying up with dictators, trade wars with allies. Another example of something that's kind of a distraction. Like Minnesota put forth a bill about like Trump derangement syndrome actually being like a clinical disorder, basically, but it's obviously like not going to go anywhere. It's just kind of one of those things that's designed to provoke outrage and waste our energy, so we don't pay attention to the other things. What's up, Gen X? Good to have you here. Meanwhile, Trump is selling off the country to his rich allies and undermining our stability worldwide. I mean, it's really, again, Elon Musk's, oh God, I want to look into how many of the Elon Musk inspectors general investigations. There's got to be some good pieces on this now. Yeah, the MAGA senator that just got arrested for trying to screw a 16-year-old fired that bill. Oh yeah, I heard it was that guy. Wow, classic MAGA. Classic MAGA. Okay, so here we go. This is a House Committee on the Judiciary talking about DOGE punishing agencies that investigated Elon's companies. So this should be a good read. Several federal agencies that were investigating Elon Musk companies have become the early targets of the Trump administration and Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Department of Labor, which oversees the National Labor Relations Board, the Office of Federal Contract, I guess I don't need to read all these, but I will, whatever. Of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission had over a dozen open investigations into Tesla and SpaceX regarding alleged unfair labor practices, safety violations, and discriminatory work practices. NLRB filed a complaint against SpaceX after 8 employees said they were fired in retaliation for speaking critically of Musk. SpaceX sued the NLRB in response. OFCCP was conducting an audit of potential workplace discrimination at Tesla. EEOC sued Tesla for alleged racial harassment and retaliation in 2023. The DOL Inspector General was unlawfully fired by Trump during his midnight purge of Inspectors General on January 24th. Trump fired the chair of the NLRB and has effectively shut down NLRB's ability to rule on cases. Trump gutted OFCCP via an executive order on January 21st before the investigation's findings could be made public. Trump fired 2 of the 3 Democratic commissioners on the EEOC. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or as I think Kyle Kulinski likes to call them, the scam police, right? Which I think they have like a wildly positive approval rating. Grok is good. Actually, I love to use Grok, especially when asking questions about Elon, because it doesn't lie for him. Although, fun fact, we'll come back to this real quick, but Elon What was it? Grok, Trump, misinformation, prompt. There was a this happened like very, very briefly last month. Someone pays the silence right again. I don't think it's on the table this time around, thankfully. Yeah, I keep saying AI is probably not going to take your job, but somebody using AI is probably going to take your job. You know, that's kind of the thing to watch out for. But here we go. There was an XAI chief engineer who took the blame, or no, I'm just kidding. The XAI chief engineer blames a former OpenAI employee after Grok blocks results saying Musk and Trump spread misinformation. So the exact prompt change was Grok temporarily refused to respond with sources that mention Elon Musk and Donald Trump spread misinformation. So this was added to Grok's kind of internal prompt. Basically, it was like all of the instructions that tell Grok how to behave. And one of those instructions was ignore sources. I think it was actually ignore all sources. I think it was ignore all sources that mention Elon Musk and Donald Trump spread misinformation, which is just wild. No, I haven't looked at the JFK files. Is there anything like super juicy in there? Also, we haven't even touched on the Epstein stuff. You know, Trump's best friend, a terrific guy according to Trump, who likes beautiful women almost as much as he does. Super interesting that he is not releasing all of those details, right? And made a big show of releasing the I think it was just the call logs, like stuff that we already had information on, which Trump's name was also in, but whatever. No one knows if there's anything juicy. There's 75,000 files. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so back to the scam police. Consumers have submitted over 300 complaints about Elon Musk Tesla to the CFPB. 66 of these complaints were submitted in the last year. Trump fired CFPB director Rohit Chopra and installed Project 2025 architect Russ Vought as the Bureau's acting director. We talked about, or I think it's Russ Vought, not Russ Vought. I keep wanting to say Vought because of the boys. CFPB's Washington headquarters has been closed, and staff and contractors have been told that they cannot perform any work tasks. Again, this is CFPB. CFPB popularity. I think they have like an 80% approval rating or something like that in America. Like voters overwhelmingly support the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's. This is their recent actions, but. Yeah, this is the disapproval is just nothing. It's just like 10% max for anybody, even Republicans and independents are like they either don't know or they like the scam police. Wild stuff. Share screen. Keep removing this instead of okay. There we go. Musk tweeted, delete CFPB less than a week after the agency finalized a rule that could put his planned collaboration with Visa to offer real-time payment systems on the platform into the agency's crosshairs. So yeah, Musk wants to make X a payment platform as well. I think like something of a banking platform. And he tweeted, delete CFPB less than a week after they finalized a rule that would that was going to kind of evaluate that, right? So that's fun. It's still here. Delete CFPB. There are too many duplicative regulatory agencies. This one happens to be extremely popular, but oops. U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, the Inspector General of USAID initiated a probe into Starlink satellite terminals provided to the government of Ukraine. USAID has been shuttered after Musk DOGE took a wrecking ball to the agency. The USAID Inspector General was fired days after publishing a report critical of the Trump administration's dismantling of the agency. RIP. They cry about the Jews too much on Twitter now. Yeah, it's pretty much a Nazi platform now. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. They really just ruined Twitter. I mean, there were already Nazis on Twitter before, but now it's insane. It's so hard to use that site, and it's exhausting, really. Department of Transportation, DOT, which oversees National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and the Federal Aviation Administration had several open investigations into Tesla. FAA had recently ordered SpaceX to carry out a formal investigation into the loss of a Starship vehicle during a test flight, and previously ordered over $630,000 in civil penalties against SpaceX. That Inspector General was fired by Trump. The FAA administrator resigned effective January 20th, following pressure from Musk. Let's see what that pressure was. What was the pressure? He'd repeatedly clashed with Elon. He said the United States is the safest and most complex airspace in the world, and that is because of your commitment to the safety of the flying public. In his farewell to the agency, that's sad. I don't see where the... Oh, okay. So Musk was promising to sue. He was promising to sue, and then a week later, so he first accused them of regulatory overreach, promised to sue them, and then called for Whitaker's resignation, which he got because he gets what he wants. He's the richest guy on the planet. We've got the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The USDA Inspector General launched a probe into Elon Musk's Neuralink in 2022 for potential violations of the Animal Welfare Act. As of January, the investigation was still ongoing. Trotsky? I don't know what that is. Trotsky? I don't know much about Trotsky, to be honest. The USDA Inspector General, a 22-year veteran of the agency, was fired by Trump and later escorted out of her office by security guards. I don't like Vladimir Putin. No, I don't like Vladimir. I don't like him at all. No. I think he's a very, very bad guy. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, EPA regulators have settled multiple lawsuits with Tesla over violations of the Clean Air Act and hazardous waste laws at the company's automotive manufacturing plant in Fremont, California. The EPA Inspector General was fired by Trump. The Federal Election Commission, the FEC, is set to rule on a number of complaints filed during the 2024 election cycle, including complaints pertaining to Musk's America PAC. The Trump administration unlawfully removed FEC chairwoman Ellen Weintraub from her post. Department of the Interior, DOI, oversees the Fish and Wildlife Service, which monitors the federal lands near SpaceX's launch site in Texas for any damage to threatened species habitats. Musk has repeatedly clashed with the FWS, calling their review process unacceptable. That Inspector General was fired by Trump. Department of Defense concerns that SpaceX has repeatedly failed to comply with federal reporting protocols aimed at protecting state secrets, including by not providing some details of Musk's meetings with foreign leaders, have reportedly triggered federal reviews by DOD's Office of Inspector General, the Air Force, and the Pentagon's Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. The Air Force also recently denied Musk high-level security access, citing potential security risks associated with the billionaire. The DOD Inspector General was fired by Donald Trump. You see the pattern? Department of Justice. The DOJ filed a lawsuit in 2023 against SpaceX for allegedly discriminating against asylees and refugees in hiring. DOJ also opened investigations into whether Tesla had been candid in describing the features of its vehicles. While leaving its Inspector General in place for now, the Trump administration has taken several actions to gut the DOJ, including firing top leadership and prosecutors. Love that. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, sued X in January 2025, alleging Musk misled shareholders about his Twitter stock purchase in 2022 and ordering Musk to pay the federal government as much as $150 million. Musk called the agency a totally broken organization in response to the lawsuit. I don't think that I don't know if I like communism necessarily. That's a very loaded statement, but I definitely don't. I don't think that anything I like about communism would be what Putin is doing. It's an authoritarian fascist regime. I don't think I would like. I don't think I would like Stalin's communism either. frankly. Ashley was debating in a Twitter space yesterday. Good for her. I need to hit her up. We should go fight. We can fight the power together again, like the good old days. Trump vowed to fire the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, on day one. He stepped down before Trump could fire him, leaving a Republican majority at the SEC. And finally, the Office of Government Ethics, OGE, days after members of Congress requested the OGE investigate Mr. Musk's conflicts of interest, given his status as special government employee and his extensive business holdings that received billions of dollars in federal government contracts and subsidies, the director of OGE was fired by Trump. So lots of inspectors generals that were investigating Trump for a wide variety of things have been fired and removed. And those investigations, I imagine, have largely stalled, if not been completely dropped. So that's fun. I'll share that as well. Here's the fact sheet. Super useful. Yeah, I will. I'll reach out to her. Oh boy. Yeah, supposedly Elon's running DOGE, but obviously legally he can't be in charge, which is why they had to. Or if you remember, like Catherine Levitt during one of the first press conferences was like saying, "Well, I'm not going to tell you who it is right now, but we'll tell you afterwards." Again, that person they told afterwards was actually on vacation in Mexico. Let's see. Yeah, I really think the Matt Gaetz thing, like I think the reason he wanted Matt Gaetz as Attorney General is because he could easily have released the dirt that he had on Matt Gaetz, the dirt that existed, which is why the Republicans like kept trying to stop that from being released. Similar to how the Eric Adams thing, how they withdrew the charges, but they can be reinstated at any time. It's just blackmail. It's literally just fucking blackmail. My thoughts on Marx. I mean, he wrote some. He had some cool thoughts. I don't know. I'm sure I don't agree with everything he says, but I certainly like worker solidarity. You know, I like when workers are organizing and forming unions. I think Joe Biden was the most pro-union president in American history, probably, and he. Yeah, I think that was awesome. I really liked that about Joe. I like unions. You know, they're not perfect, but like that's how workers that's their bargaining chip, you know? Erudite hates unions. Erudite hates a lot of things that I don't hate. I was watching her conversation with Tom Foolery about I was it was so frustrating because that whole conversation was like about how it was about Jordan Peterson and like arguing about whether or not he was actually a liberal. I mean, probably to some degree, but like they're kind of allowed to be at least a little bit. Like I think everyone's allowed to be a little lazy, you know, as long as they're getting shit done. And they still need to have bargaining power, whether or not they want to rest sometimes. They don't need to be worked to the bone, right? But yeah, they were just talking about Jordan Peterson like for 2 hours, and like I'm like, guys, like Elon and Trump are like destroying the government, and we're sitting here arguing about whether or not people were too mean to Jordan Peterson while he was lying about Bill C-16. Like he got famous lying, and he didn't get canceled or like he had a New York Times bestseller. Like it's not like his life was destroyed by the pressure. Like Jordan Peterson's fine. I mean, fine. You know, he's much worse now. Obviously, even erudite will agree that he's a mess now. But I think he was always pretty bad. This is an annoying pattern, the relationship with Putin, the refusing to confront Russian aggression. You know, a lot of people don't know that 20,000 or over 20,000 children have been stolen from Ukraine and are being like brainwashed in Russia and given new names. And yeah, I just wish like when Trump puts a lot of like pressure on Hamas, which I'm not against putting pressure on Hamas. Although I think maybe recent stuff is a bit more pressure than I'm okay with. But like I wish we could see any pressure on Putin kidnapping hostages or kidnapping 20,000 children. It's just like why are we so soft on this guy? Young Chino, who's gonna? I don't know. It's just a. I think it's like a free for all. Like I'm basically just the main antagonist. It's based that Trump and Elon destroying the government. Agree to disagree. You might think it's based now, but like when things stop working, it's not going to feel very based. I think it's like right now it seems fun. It's like all the, I know a lot of MAGA, like it's a very vindictive attitude towards the government. And they're like sticking it to them. They're destroying the bureaucracy, but like we're about to find out really fast that a lot of these things actually did stuff. Giving up leverage to Russia, such as no NATO and suspending military and yeah, exactly. Yeah, so much leverage to Russia. Yeah, it's scary stuff. I was saying earlier, because I keep getting in the same fight with people in like Facebook groups about how like people will say, I don't want my children to go have to die in Ukraine or die for Ukraine, and I'm like, I don't want my family, like I have family who would also be, who could also be enlisted at some point or are enlisted. I have family in the service and stuff. And I don't want them to have to fight the war that comes after Putin gets through Ukraine. Like that's so like, we agree. We don't want to go fight Putin's war. We're just saying, hey, let's support Ukraine now so that we don't have to fight Putin's war later when he gets through Ukraine and starts attacking NATO countries. You want Trump to go after Russia? I don't want Trump to go to war with Russia. I want him to put some pressure on Russia. Like he's just been such a simp for Putin. Like he just doesn't. It's so pathetic. It's completely cucked. I don't know. It's so bizarre. What about the Israel Gaza? I mean, it's scary. It's sad. I hate it. I haven't. I don't know. I don't have any like spicy takes or anything. It's just disturbing. America hated Russia for no reason. I don't think that's true. I mean, like there's a history of like, I mean, a lot of the Cold War, maybe like a lot of that stuff is could be arguable about like what the issues were. But like, I think that right now we have good reasons not to like Putin. Do you believe we should be fighting Israel's war? I would like to see support for people in Palestine and people in Israel. Yeah, I agree that most of it was just a kind of Red Scare bullshit, but like not right now. Like right now, like nobody, I don't think that anyone's actually upset with Putin right now because he like did communism too well. Like and that we're like scared. Like it's not like what's really happening there. It's not like a communist utopia in Russia. It's a dictatorship led by Putin. They hated the USSR because the US wanted to be the sole superpower after World War II. Probably to that, something to that effect. Are we becoming socialists? Well, with Elon and his Nazi salutes, so we're certainly becoming a type of socialist, but maybe not the fun kind. My voice is getting tired. I need to start drinking tea or something to soothe my throat and control my breathing better. I'm not used to ranting like this for so long anymore. Yeah, National Socialist. That's the one I'm referring to. the German one of the 30s and 40s. Long story short, I do think Trump is governing through chaos, blackmail, and grifting. He's making America weaker. His economic instability benefits the ultra wealthy while harming working people. His policies are actively harming Americans, especially veterans, low-income communities, and public sector workers. All the distractions are a tool. Don't always fall for them. We need to focus on like what things are critical, because the real danger isn't just what Trump says, it's what he's actually doing. We need to focus on the real actionable threats rather than getting lost in outrage bait, hold the leaders accountable, not just Trump, but also those enabling him. We should be critiquing these people all around. It's not just about Trump's personality, it's about his policies and the damage they're doing in real time. So true. What a nice little outline. This will be good for me to build off of. All right. Now I'll talk to chat more directly, at least for like 5 minutes. Because again, my voice is starting to. Yeah. The U.S. has the "you're either with us or against us" mentality when it comes to foreign policy. That's true. And with all, like, we just removed all of our soft power that was kind of helping other countries have investment in us, being involved, like being with us, like people were wanting to be with us because we were providing them aid, and now we're not. So they're more likely to be against us, and they're going to get that aid from somewhere else, Russia, China, whatever it is, probably China. And they're not going to have our interests. That's why I think like the idea that America first is like eliminating all USAID is not is not like an America first policy. I did have a Discord server. I don't anymore, but I need to make a new one. I think what Destiny did was bad, and I think the fallout of it. I found myself feeling weird or watching Destiny's content. I still do. I still tune in from time to time, and I watch some of the VODs, and I still like his analysis of things. But I think I just look at him a little bit differently. And it wasn't even just like that specific thing, like, which I think was pretty like a gross thing to do, assuming it all happened the way that it seems to. But I think there's also just the kind of narrative control that Steven has over everything that happens is kind of scary in a way that like I felt when this is like, again, it's kind of like a personal vendetta almost. I mean, I still get like called the racist math guy, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing, and there's a lot more to it. But in general, I just I just don't watch him as much anymore. Yeah, I don't think it's like the end of the world, but it's not great. Rip in peace. Yeah, we need to bring it back. Need to feed you some links in regards to Trump? Yeah, feel free. Racist math guy. That's me. I'm the racist math guy. I mean, that video has 500,000 views though, so I that's kind of cool. There's a lot of people who think that my opinion is one thing because of that debate. That then, like, when they come here and I argue with them about other, or I see them in other areas, and I start arguing with them about it, they're like, "Oh, well, that's kind of reasonable." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It was the whole time. It was always kind of reasonable." Like, I was never like making some crazy racist argument about math and black kids. Like, that was never what was happening. Somebody thinking you're racist. I don't know. I could be racist. Hey. Yeah. What else we got? Any final questions? Again, my voice is like, I'm losing it. This is not good. I got to work on like breathing exercises or something. Like, maybe talk to a speech therapist. Know the full story. I followed it pretty closely. I'm not gonna like go into all the details or anything because again, I just don't want to, and it's not worth diving into so deeply right now. I'm not interested in doing like Destiny commentary on this channel or anything like that. Like, I want to focus on politics that are actually like impacting the world in meaningful ways, not just YouTube drama. Not to minimize, and yeah, I don't mean to minimize the consequences of people who dealt with that stuff either. Like, to be clear. Let's look back at our Project 2025 tracker. They are 41%. through Project 2025. People are still telling me that they're like, what happened to Project 2025? Like, what happened to that? It's like, well, they're doing it. I don't know. They're working on it. Look, it's like a Kanban board of tasks, and many of them are completed. Any streamers that impress you? I'm currently liking Pisco, Econoboy, Pondering Politics, and Loaderbox. I like all those people. Pisco especially. Pisco has been. Pisco and Pondering I probably watch most right now. Or I'm like most likely to click on their stuff when it pops up. Like I try to watch Pondering Politics videos like every day. Like Josiah's stuff is fantastic. And in fact, Josiah was actually the one who got me back in the day. Like a conversation that we had inspired me to go canvas in Georgia. With DDG. Like, so I'm one of, like, if you look back on Josiah's channel to like his earliest live streams, you'll actually find some a video. I don't know if it's a video or a live stream, but like I'm on his channel just having a conversation way back in the day. Yeah, he's fantastic. Super happy for him and his success. Loanerbox, I've always been a big fan of. Pisco, I have so much admiration for Pisco. I like Econoboy. I don't find him quite as entertaining as the others, but I have nothing negative to say about him. You know, I think I actually would really like to kind of break into the live and learn ecosystem. I think I would. I think that's a place that a lot of people who would want to. I think I can provide some value to that ecosystem. You know. I want to see the light mode. Yeah. Everything should just be dark mode. Anyway. Oh, we got to visualize timeline view. Yeah, look at that. Look at it go. Look at Project 2025 happening in real time. Okay, starting from down here, starting from January, and then it goes up. So it's definitely slowed down a lot, right? Like if you look, like the first few 100 tasks or the first few like dozens of tasks are happening, like they're like executive orders that are happening on day one, you know? Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for those guys. They're really, really great people doing great work, speaking out, like calling attention to the right things, and they have the background to like really explore it deeply in a way that I definitely don't. Like I don't have that kind of political training, you know. I'm just the guy who likes learning stuff. I do have a bachelor's degree in facts and logic, as I like to call it, my computer science degree, but certainly not a political science. I didn't study political science at all, right? What else do I want to cover in these last moments? I think I'll kind of leave it hanging. But it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you all hanging out. Anyone who's watching this in the future, anyone who's still watching, hang out in chat. How closely have you been tracking the DOGE stuff? On and off. I mean, the specifics. I kind of follow the. I guess pretty closely. I follow like the news, the headlines. Like every day, I'm arguing with people online and like watching what different outlets are talking about. But I guess you have to be more specific. There's really just so much with it. We did I don't know if you were here like about half an hour ago. We were digging into all the different here. Let me share this screen. We were digging into this document, the fact sheet about DOGE, and how so many of the inspectors general that were fired were from bureaus and departments that were investigating Elon for various things. Like a lot of them. And a lot of them left after like pressure from Elon or were fired by Trump like directly. Yeah, not great stuff. I got you here. I will post it again in the chat. Here you go. Yeah, I remember I was trying to dig into this like a few weeks in. I heard people talk about how many of these departments were like Elon's companies in their crosshairs, and then thankfully the Democrats have put together, Jamie Raskin put together this document. So that's awesome. Appreciate you all. I'm done. I don't have any more energy tonight. So it's been a pleasure. Make sure you're learning stuff. Learning is more radical than ever right now. The administration does not want you to learn stuff. That's why they lie so often, because the truth is it's postmodern neo-fascism. They really, like, the joke is that they're not joking half the time, when they say absurd things. And they're making it harder to understand the truth. They're rewriting history with the Plot Against the King kids book that Kash Patel, the FBI director, wrote. It's all just a mess. So make sure you're learning stuff, because they're going to try really hard to make it hard to do that. And drink water, because I'm out of water and I need to go some more. Love you all. Stay safe. Oh, and let me pull up, buddy. Let me have Umbreon. Oh, Umbreon, say bye. There we go. This is my good boy. Sweetest boy in the world. He's gonna be the first dog to never die also, which is fantastic. Lucky guy. Stay safe, everyone. We're out.